that God's will for your life might not be pleasant. I lost my biological father when I was 6. I've seen death from a very young age, my grandparents and relatives and friends. So I want you to hear me. Just because life is difficult or painful or you can't explain it, I want you to hold fast to this, that you might be exactly where God has you. And now I want to invite you to consider something else. That God's will for your life might not be pleasant. You've heard me share my story. Death in my family has run rampant. I lost my biological father when I was 6. I've seen death from a very young age, my grandparents and relatives and friends. Anxiety and depression has taken so many of my family. Drug and alcohol abuse has taken so many people in my family. And I'm going to be preaching about this next week. My mother, whom I love, is one of the most faithful people of Christ. I've seen her broken over people who she's prayed for and begged the Lord to show up in profound ways. And I don't fully know how to explain that, if I'm being honest with you. As a pastor, somebody who's followed Jesus for almost 3 decades, I don't fully know how to explain this, but I do know that God's will might not be pleasant. And in Matthew 26, 36 through 44, I think we get the realest glimpse of a man who did nothing wrong, who never sinned, who never did wrong to anyone. He suffers in tremendous ways. And I just want to invite us to consider the story this morning. And in starting in verse 36 of chapter 26 of Matthew, then Jesus went with his disciples to a place called Gethsemane. And he said to them, "Sit here while I go over there and pray." And he took his best friends, Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee, along with him, and he began to be sorrowful and troubled. Then he said to them, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. I am so full of just tremendous sorrow that I could die," Jesus says. So if you're here in the room or you're watching online, Jesus sees you. He knows, he's experienced it with you, the depths of life. We're going to be singing it later on this morning, but he's walked through the darkest valleys. "Stay here," he goes on to say, "and keep watch with me." And going on a little further, he fell with his face to the ground and he prayed, "My Father," which Pastor Glenn preached about last week. It sounds familiar. It's remnant. "If it is possible, may this cup be taken from me." He's talking about his soon-to-be death on the cross. God, if there's any other way, if this cup can be taken from me. But listen to what he says. "Yet not as I will, but as you will." So then he returns to his disciples and he found them sleeping. "Couldn't you men keep watch with me for 1 hour?" he asked Peter. "Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." So he goes on again a second time and he prays, "My Father, if it is not possible for this cup to be taken away unless I drink, may your will be done." And when he came back, he found them sleeping because their eyes were heavy. So he left them and he went away once more and he prayed the 3rd time, saying the same thing. So I want you to hear me. Just because life is difficult or painful or you can't explain it, I want you to hold fast to this, that you might be exactly where God has you. You might be, and that's painful. And listen, I've shared with you vulnerably, it's probably one of the biggest things that I struggle with in my faith, that I often believe that God is not good. It's one of the biggest lies that I believe in. So what I do is I run to Scripture and I hold fast to, even today, I was weeping over there as I was just feeling the Spirit, and just to be vulnerable with you, I was like, man, there are people who aren't gonna take hold of the kingdom. They're just gonna keep living their life. They're shutting the door of the kingdom in people's faces and hopes of being religiously good. And so I had to go back to places like Psalm 34:8. Taste and see that the Lord is good. No good thing does he withhold from those who walk uprightly. So I was just praying for you during worship. I'm weeping. Just my heart breaks. And I just say, God, would you help people taste and see that you are good? Would you help me taste and see that you are good? So I don't know. I don't know the answer to pain and difficulty, but guess what? I do know that Jesus knows. And he's been there. And he's with you. And he sees you. And so if I could encourage you for a moment, hold on to him. In Psalm 34:18, it goes on to say, David goes on to say, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and he saves those who are crushed in spirit. So what I do know, Scripture says, is that God is nearer to the hurting and the broken and the confused. And so keep running after Jesus. Keep running after him. He knows and he sees you.